take evasive action, I can help you change your future. The following few moments may very well change your life. And I wish someone had told me this when I was your age. You can change today if you redefine what success is to you. You can transform your damaged relationships.
It's very scary sometimes to accept the dream that you have.
When I was growing up, I lied for people to accept me because I didn't accept myself. So I would make up stories so that you would accept me into your world. I would, everything I did was for someone else to like me. I had to make a change in my life. You know, I was at an all-time low, and I wasn't going anywhere, and I was exactly what everybody said I was going to be, which was nothing. So I had to make a change. And the feeling I had every morning, I looked in the mirror, was horrible. And I didn't want to feel like that anymore. And how I felt was a kid going nowhere, a kid that was scared. And most kids will accept that and look for help. But the best thing that happened to me, no one helped me. No one felt sorry for me. As humans, we want to find out how to be someone else. What we don't do is we don't go inside. So literally turn yourself inside out. Read the book that's like we're writing a book every day of our lives, but we never read that book. You have to look inside of yourself and see what you really want. What are you passionate about?
Your soul is screaming for you to answer your true calling. You can change today if you redefine.
I'm scared to death to go home. I don't want to be in the situation to have to go home and say to my daughter, Daddy's not going to be living here anymore.
This is Neil, who's about to be left by his wife. Neil is desperate to turn it around, but he doesn't know how to do it. He's just raised his hand at a Tony Robbins seminar.
Me and my wife had a big fight, which we still haven't resolved. I spoke to my daughter as well. My daughter's 5.5 years old. She said, "Oh, miss you, Daddy." I said, "Oh, miss you too, darling. Really love you." And then said, "Can I speak to Mummy?" I said, "Oh, miss you." She goes, "Oh." I said, "You missed me? I've been really busy. I want to be with my wife. I love my wife. But we don't have that many things in common. We've got a lot of different things that we value and that we're interested in."
What's going to happen when you go there? Have to make a decision? What's changed?
I'm working even harder than I'm doing, really early mornings to late nights. I've got outside interests as well, which she doesn't like.
What are your outside interests?
I play in a band.
But you could be there because you could give up the band.
Yeah.
And she'd like you to do that.
Yeah.
What instrument do you play?
Guitar.
Tell me what it feels like when you play the guitar. Look at that. What did you just think?
It's astonishing.
Yeah, it's astonishing. That's a great word.
It's like being a god.
It's like being a god.
Yeah.
And when you go home with your wife, how significant do you feel? What do you think the chances of him giving up the band are?
0.
No.
It
No way.
inspires you, wakes you up.
So far, Neil has shared with us one major source of conflict with his wife. He wants to play in his band, but his wife says no. Who's going to win this argument? Will Neil give up his wife in order to keep the band? If you were Tony in this situation, what would you tell Neil? All these questions are answered in the next 3 minutes.
You can change today if you redefine what success is to you. You can transform your damaged relationships and build new ones. You can forgive yourself and others who've hurt you. You can become a leader by mentoring with others who you aspire to be like. You can rebalance your priorities in life. You can heal your marriage and recreate a stronger love than you ever thought possible. You can become the best parent possible at any age, even 86. But don't wait until then. You'll always be able to make more money, but you cannot make more time.
After years of repetitive work, you will often need to dig hard to find your passions, redefine your dreams, and revive hobbies that you let atrophy to near extinction. The goal is not to simply eliminate the bad, which does nothing more than leave you with a vacuum, but to pursue and experience the best in the world.
We all have dreams, and it's very scary sometimes to accept the dream that you have. And it's scarier still to say, okay, I want that. It's scary because you're afraid that if you put your heart and soul into it and you fail, then how are you going to feel about yourself? Right? So being fearless means putting yourself out there and going for it. No matter what, go for it. Not for anybody else, but for yourself.
We are all great. No matter if you think you're dumb, no matter if you think you're fat, no matter if you are fat, no matter if you've been bullied, or no matter if you just got back from Iraq or Afghanistan and you have no legs or your arms or whatever, man, we all have greatness. It just, you gotta find the courage. You gotta find the courage to put your Bose headphones on and silence the noise out of this world and to find it. And to find it because it's out there, but it's gonna take hard work, courage, self-discipline. It's gonna take all the non-cognitive skills. All the non-cognitive skills to be great.
What do you want to be remembered for? What can you do for others to make the world a better place? What is your true purpose on this earth? We are all dying, but only a small select few are truly living. You can step out of the shadows into the light. You are meant for greatness. You are meant for more than just what you do for a living. You are an eternal being, meant to inspire and help the world. Let's get it right once and for all in this lifetime.
Your brain and your body, once connected together, can do anything.
If you want to be the best at that, if you want to reach the pinnacle of that, you must be, you have to be obsessed with obtaining that.
You can't shortchange yourself. Like, you're not cheating anybody but yourself. I mean, you're tired. You're literally this far away from the line. Why would you not go that extra to touch the line?
Never give up, regardless of how challenging your destiny in life will be. The world really needs you now more than ever.
If there is no joy when you wake up in the morning, if you dread the sound of the alarm clock going off, if you feel stagnant, if you have the thought in your head that there has got to be more to life than this, you know what you should do? You should stop doing whatever it is you're doing. You will become exceptional the moment you make an exceptional decision.
The only thing that changes your life is making a decision.
You have to be so clear in your mind exactly what you want to do and what you want to achieve. And for me, it doesn't work without any goals, without any targets. I cannot compete properly.
Commitment is when you now, after you've decided, you commit to do this for the long term. Whether it's hard or easy, doesn't matter. You're doing this. If you're having a difficult time with something, your relationship isn't where you want it to be, your finances are not where you want to be, your body's not where you want to be, your business is not where you want to be, you need to take massive action. And if that doesn't work, try something else. If that doesn't work, try something else. Keep going with massive action and you will find the way, because it will give you momentum.
You have to be able to see what doesn't exist in order to be able to pull off or achieve what in most people's minds seems to be impossible.
I want you to know something, that the bigger your dream is, I want you to understand the harder the grind. The bigger your dream is, the earlier you're going to have to get up. The longer you're going to have to stay up. The bigger your dream is, the more effort you're going to have to put in. You'll never see it for those of you who are 70% beast mode, 30% gazelle. That's just enough for that other person to outdo you. Listen to me, that's just enough for the other person who wants just what you want. I
I want you to think about those goals. I want you to taste them. I want you to internalize it. I'm telling you to dream your dream because I want you to feel it. I want you to taste it. I want you to know how close. I want you, just like when the weather is changing, you can feel it. I want you to be able to feel when you're getting closer to it and closer to it. But more importantly, I want you to know when you dream your dream that there are other people who are dreaming the exact same dream. When you said to yourself, when the ball comes out, this is what I want to accomplish, you're not the only person that wants to accomplish it. And now I ask you this question: what do you do when 1,000 other people want exactly what you want? What do you do when you're not the only one that wants to make $1 million in your company? You're not the only one that wants to be the president. You're not the only one that wants to be the CEO. What if you're not the only one that wants what you want? What if there are thousands of other people who want what you want? You have to outwork them. You got to outgrind them. You got to get up earlier. You got to stay up later. You got to execute, and you got to go from 70 to 120.
If other people are putting in 40-hour work weeks and you're putting in 100-hour work weeks, you will achieve in 4 months what it takes them a year to achieve.
Stop crying and just keep hustling. Hustle is the most important word ever. If you want this, if you're miserable, or if you don't like it, or you want to do something else and you have a passion somewhere else, work 9 to 5, spend a couple hours with your family. 7 to 2 in the morning is plenty of time to do damage. I mean, you start building your equity and your brand and whatever you're trying to accomplish after hours. Everybody has time. Stop watching Lost.
If you really have a drive and you really put your heart and soul into something, you can really make anything happen.
Wanted to just prove everybody wrong, you know what I mean? I wanted to make it, and I was going to make it regardless of what anybody said.
This thing, you're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for anybody else. Yes, your family supports you. Yes, your friends support you, but you're doing it for yourself at the end of the day.
There will be days where you will ask yourself, where is all this going? What is the purpose? What is my purpose? In high school, I thought I'd discover my life's purpose when I could answer that age-old question, what do you want to be when you grow up? Nope. In college, I thought I would discover it when I could answer, what's your major? Not quite. I thought that maybe I'd discover it when I found a good job. Then I thought I just needed to get a few promotions. That didn't work either. I kept convincing myself that it was just over the horizon, around the next corner. Nothing worked, and it was really tearing me apart. Part of me kept pushing ahead to the next achievement, and the other part kept asking, is this all there is?
I've often said that I wished people could realize all their dreams and wealth and fame, and so that they could see that it's not where you're going to find your sense of completion. I realized one night in LA that the purpose of my life had always been to free people from concern. I can tell you from experience, the effect you have on others is the most valuable currency there is.
When you work towards something greater than yourself, you find meaning, you find purpose. When you keep people at the center of what you do, it can have an enormous impact. All life is interrelated. We are all bound together into a single garment of destiny.
But under the sky, under the heaven, man, there is but one family. It just so happened, man, that people are different.
That's the only thing that's important, really. Letting each other know we're here. Reminding each other that we're part of a larger self.
Deep inside of you lives a hero who wants to do something great with your life, who wants to inspire other people, who wants to do creative work, who wants to change the world. Maybe you're so numbed out that you've forgotten who you truly are. The fact that you are alive today means there is a mighty call on your life to do something with the rest of your life.
When you're convinced that your cause is right, have the courage to take a stand. Use your minds and hands and your hearts to build something bigger than yourselves. If you see a problem or an injustice, recognize that no one will fix it but you.
A change in the world that seems so clear that you are sure someone else is going to do it. But they're not. You will. Ideas?
Hey, it's John Mack, and if you give me 45 seconds, I'm going to be showing you what all these people have in common and how they're earning over $100,000 per month.
But they're not. You will. Ideas don't come out fully formed. They only become clear as you work on them. You just have to get started.
How will you serve the world? What do they need that your talent can provide? That's all you have to figure out.
I want to do good. I want the world to be better because I was here. I want my life, I want my work, I want it to mean something. If you are not making someone else's life better, then you're wasting your time.
When you wake up in the morning and your life means something to somebody other than you, that you have a purpose. If you don't go do the things that you're going to do, people's lives will suffer. To live in service, not to you, but to live in service to humanity, to live in service to your family, to your church, to your city, to your country, to the world, that is the purest form of joy.
Tear down that mirror that makes you always look at yourself, and you will be able to look beyond that mirror, and you will see the millions of people that need your help. Reaching out and helping people will bring you more satisfaction than anything else you've ever done.
Measure your impact on humanity not in likes, but in the lives you touch. Not in popularity, but in the people you serve. There is so much out there conspiring to make you cynical. People will try to convince you that you should keep your empathy out of your career. Don't let that noise knock you off course. I found that my life got bigger when I stopped caring what other people thought about me. Yours will too. Stay focused on what really matters.
When I look around, I always learn something, and that is to be always yourself. And to express yourself, to have faith in yourself, to express oneself honestly, not lying to oneself, and to express myself honestly. That, my friend, is very hard to do.
Everything you gain in life will rot and fall apart, and all that will be left of you is what was in your heart. Don't let anything stand in the way of the light that shines through this form. Risk being seen in all of your glory. Are ready and able to do beautiful things in this world. You will only ever have two choices, love or fear. Choose love, and don't ever let fear turn you against your playful heart.
Many things can contribute to our not approving our dreams, our not feeling good enough. A lot of things contribute to that. Many of us never live up to our potential or don't approve ourselves because we never had anybody to believe in us. Looking at some of the things that keep us from approving ourselves, that we've all done some things that we don't feel good about. Things that if we had to do those things over again, we would not do those things. or we would do things differently. So part of what we must do in order to begin to move into your greatness, you got to remove a major energy block, and that is dealing with the issue of forgiveness. People that have hurt you, someone who's done you wrong. Make a list, and things that you have done that you feel bad about, that you regret. Make a list. Maybe a time when you weren't a good father or a good mother or a good brother or sister, or you were a bad child, or you didn't do a good job, or you lied, or you were dishonest, or you stole. No one knows this but you, or something you feel good about. So, you know, there's a real dog in me to do that. Something you just really regret. So we make a list of all those things. All of us have some of that. Somebody said there's some good in the worst of us and some bad in the best of us. So none of us escape. Now here's something I want you to do. I want you to become involved in an active process to get some clutter out of your life. So if there's any area in your life that you need to clean up, there's some people who's cluttering up your life. They serve no purpose whatsoever. They're just holding and occupying a space that somebody useful, positive, nurturing, and contributing could be holding that space. You don't even have time to look to see what else is out there because you all have all of these people surrounding you that's not enabling you to grow. So look at what is it I need to get out of my life. Just start cleaning this stuff out. See, whatever you have in your environment is a reflection of your consciousness. So you got all that chaos there. That represents some disorganized, cluttered section of your mind. So let's get all that out of there, all right? Work to get that out, clean that up. Anybody that you feel very strongly about, have some negative feelings about, let's look at some good reasons to forgive them. Number one, you must try and see what has happened or see things from that other person's point of view. Let's look at it from their point of view. That's one area. That's number one. Then number two, holding a grudge hurts you. It doesn't hurt them. So just for good health and peace of mind, let it go. Any feeling of resentment or anger or hatred is called to me the load of bitterness within. Every thought that we entertain produces a chemical in our brain that impacts the body's immune system. And besides, this person you're hating, they probably are not even aware of it. Don't even know you're really hating them. You've turned up the steam. Gone from dislike to hate, intense hate. And here you are killing yourself, making yourself vulnerable to various types of illnesses, putting yourself in bad health. And I say that person is not worth your sacrificing your health or 1 minute of peace of mind.
Same thing with breakups here. I don't know why people cry over them.
Anger robs you of 60
Some things
seconds
are hard
of
to let go, but
so decide it doesn't matter.
might be best just to let them
Let
go.
it go and experience the dignity and the magnanimous sense of character
Great
of being
gift that
big
God
enough
has
to move
coming
on
your
and
way.
get on with your life.
With somebody better.
Letting it go so you can grow. See, all of us have greatness within us. But when you don't come to grips with your greatness and you don't work to develop it, if you're not seeking it out, if you're not finding where it is, if you're not trying to locate it, if you're not experimenting with your life to try and find out what fits for you, I'm saying that you're positioning yourself to be a miserable person.
For the rest of your life.
An unfulfilled person. How else do we do it? Procrastination. We just put things off over and over and over again. Why? Because we haven't accepted it. We don't feel deserving. We don't feel that we're good enough. So we sabotage ourselves by not ever taking care of business. We get real busy doing a lot of things where we don't have any time. We start doing so many things, we just give our time away until we don't have any time for ourselves or any time to do the things that we want to do. And every time you put it off and move it back, oh, I'll do it one day, oh, you're going to get to it. I'm saying to you that one day you look around and there goes a year, there goes 2 years, there goes 3 years. So if there's something you want to do it now. Do it right now. Don't put it off. Start right now where you are. There'll never be a perfect, ideal time.
Never.
Whatever you have going for you right now, that's enough. Work on that idea. Work on it. Work on it. Work on it.
So you can't work on it no more.
With the relationships you have. What kind of person are you becoming because of the relationships that you have right now? Do those people contribute to you? Do they help you grow and develop yourself? What kind of person are you becoming? People who have not accepted greatness for themselves, these people don't study, ladies and gentlemen.
Nope.
These people don't study. They don't have time for personal growth and development.
Nope.
They don't have time to work on their minds. No, they don't have time for that. Too busy for that. To determine the height of your self-approval, it's important that you evaluate yourself, because you know you quite well, but it's almost impossible to do it totally by yourself. You must get some caring feedback. Find somebody close enough to you that has observed you or been around you that you value their opinion, and ask them, how do they see you? How do they rate you in terms of your self-esteem? And then compare what you have with what they say. See, there are things many times that people can see in us that we can't see because it's a blind spot. When someone pays you a compliment, can you handle it well? Can you handle compliments well? That's a good barometer about your self-esteem. Can you handle criticism well? Can you give criticism? What are your expectations? What do you expect to get from life? What do you expect to get from your business? What do you expect to get from your relationships? What is your ideal day? What is it that you expect from this experience, this trip, this journey that you're involved in? People that have a strong sense of self-approval, they have high expectations for themselves and from life and from others. See, a lot of people don't expect much from life. So they don't shoot for much. They're not preparing for much. A lot of people are just growing up in life. A lot of people just get up in the morning and they go through the day, they go to the job just to pull a check down.
I want to just work a job. I want to change lives, yo.
So you want to be a different kind of person as you forward your life. You want to get something out of this. If you're going to do it, it's worth your time, your energy. You've got some expectations from this. So examine your expectations versus your wishes. Some people wish they could do better, but some people expect to do better. Where are you on that? And love yourself. Make caring for you the highest priority in your life. Take care of you. Look out for what truly satisfies you. We're not taught to love ourselves. We're not taught to look out for ourselves. We're not taught to take care of ourselves, to become sensitive to our wants, to our needs, our desires. So make a conscious effort. Make you number one priority. Your peace of mind. Your health is more important than your family and any and everybody. Because if you don't have peace of mind, if you don't have your health, you can't serve anybody. Don't neglect yourself. A lot of us, and particularly ladies, have been groomed to be sacrificial lambs, putting their dreams on the back burner in deference to their children's dreams or their husband's dreams or their family's dreams, and forget about themselves. Then become resentful and angry and bitter. So start taking care of yourself, looking out for you. Develop a health plan. Your health is all you got. So start taking care of you. Eating nutritious meals, willing to exercise your body, taking care of this body, loving yourself. So do some good stuff for yourself on purpose. Take some time out for you. You can't develop and manifest your greatness. You can't be a high achiever if you don't feel good. You don't take care of yourself. It takes the edge off your life. It helps you to manage things rather than allowing them to manage you. Gives you more personal power to deal with stuff. Take care of you. Now here's something else I suggest for you. Become aware of what your needs are and develop compassion towards yourself despite your human defects. Develop compassion for yourself despite your human defects. You will never be perfect. Hello? You will never be perfect. You're human. You've made a lot of mistakes. You've done a lot of dumb, stupid things. Guess what? You're not through yet. You got to learn to be gentle with yourself. Make it all right. What you don't know, mistakes that you made. It's okay. Handle it. Learn from the experience.
I'm scared to death to go home. I don't want to be in the situation to have to go home and say to my daughter,
decide that you are going to, whatever you become involved in, to be up front, to be true to yourself. Are you getting what you need out of it? And be up front with people and tell them what you need from them. Don't assume that they know. Don't say, I thought you knew. No, tell people up front, here's what I need from this in order for this to work for me. Be up front with your stuff. Tell them up front so they're not surprised later on. So your feelings aren't hurt later on. See, if they tell you up front they can't do it, now you know you can keep on stepping. But tell people up front, here's what I want. In order for me to play this game with you, if we're going to dance, this is what I got to get out of it. See, if you don't take care of your needs, guess what? You will always have that nagging song in the back of your mind say, well, when do I get mine? See, we're taught to be quiet and not speak up for ourselves, and not to be selfish. If you don't take care of you, who do you think is going to take care of you? Who's going to look out for you better than you will? No one. No one's going to do that. You got a business? No one's going to take care of your business better than you. Nobody. Anything you want to do in life, you've got to take ownership of it and say, hey, I'm going to make this happen. Be willing to venture out and do something that you have fantasized about doing. And you know you probably won't be good at it, but do it anyhow.
People should fucking stop complaining.
Right.
People should figure out who the fuck they are.
Good call.
People should not listen to America propaganda of fixing the shit they suck at. They should be tripling down on what they're good at. They should be competent in certain areas, but you're not gonna become Beyonce or, you know, like your bone structure is a certain way. Like you're not gonna solve everything. Your IQ can get a little bit better, but don't worry about the incremental. Figure out what you fucking puts you on fire and you're halfway decent at. If you're lucky enough right now to be listening and you're good at what you like, become tunnel fucking vision. Because there's way too many voices telling you what and how. And here's the other thing, and this is the big one, Joe, because you have a humongous audience. The biggest thing that I've seen dividends from, have the conversation with the person that's holding you back. The reason most people who are listening right now are not doing that thing is they're worried about the opinion of somebody, usually their mother, usually their father. And the reality is that your spouse may be the person holding you back, and you have to have that conversation.
Cut them off.
We have to get to a place where you're doing you, because the number one thing that scares the fuck out of me is regret. And you're gonna sit there at 72 and you're gonna say, I wish, and whether that's money or spend more time with your family, there's a million ways to do this.
Our whole lives are guided moment to moment by the state we're in. Learning how to change your state, not bullshit, not fake, but to go from pissed off, frustrated, freaked out to back in your center, or creative, or determined, or something that's going to move you forward. It's going to create a better quality of life for you and others. That's a critical skill set. So moment to moment in our life's controlled by our states.
Yep.
You know, if you're in an angry state, you're going to respond differently than if you're feeling playful. But what controls those states long term is your model of the world. Everyone has different goals and dreams and desires. But as I traveled around the world to 100 countries, I started going, holy shit, I'm seeing the same problems. What's underneath it? I began to see that there are these same 6 human needs that we all have, the same needs. We all have a need for certainty, that we can avoid pain and we can have some pleasure, some comfort. We all need uncertainty. Mm-hmm. We need variety, or we feel dead inside. If you're totally certain, you're bored. If you have total variety, you're like freak out. And it's not a balance. It's learning which of these you need more as a person. Everyone's developed a different set of values in that area. The need for significance, to feel unique, special, important, the need to feel loved, the need to grow, and the need to contribute. Some people value certainty at the top of their list. That's their center of their target. I don't want to do anything unless I know it's going to work. I don't want to do anything unless it's the same. If you change anything, they freak out. If you're driven by love first, you want certainty too, but love is higher, you're going to behave very differently than if you're driven by significance. I have to be the one. The two that most people have, 90% of the planet, if you said, of all these needs, which one do you really focus on most day to day? Everybody wants love, but what do you focus on? Most people focus on being significant. We live in a Facebook world where people fake their life, put new filters, make it look different than it really is, tell stories that, you know, are totally full of it to make themselves look good. Because we live in this kind of false world where significance is more important than love. Right. And it separates us.
Whenever you look at somebody that's been successful, do not allow yourself to make them extraordinary at your expense. You're capable of whatever it is that they're capable of. But it comes down to the mental constructs that you're going to have to build and leverage in your own mind in order to do something great. So I switched my self-esteem from being right and being smart to being the learner who was always willing to admit that he was wrong, identify the right answer, give credit to the person who thought of it, and put more energy behind it than anyone else. And that became my driver.
People getting ready to go to jobs that they don't like, jobs that are making them sick. What is it that you could love doing 7 days a week that'll bring a smile to your face? You've got to start saying yes to your life. You've got to start saying yes to your dreams, yes to your unfolding future, yes to your potential. You know, every year I used to say, this is my year. But ladies and gentlemen, one good year won't be enough for me. How many of you can use a good decade? Raise your hands, please. Fantastic. All right, now, here's what I want to do. I want to share with you how you can begin to make this your decade. How many of you know within yourself, if you ask yourself the question, have I done all that I'm capable of doing or being and living up to my potential? How many of you have to really answer, no, I have not done all that I can do? Raise your hands, please. Okay, very good. Now, here's what we know. That people don't do what they know in life, but what they do is they operate within the context of the vision they have of themselves. So what I want to share with you is how to begin to get a larger vision of yourself and how to begin to make this your decade. Because in order to do that, it's going to be very challenging. It's going to require a lot of work on your part, an ongoing process of personal and professional self-mastery. And it's going to require that you begin to see yourself worthy of the requirements in terms of effort, in terms of commitment, in terms of action, in terms of preparation, or whatever it is that you need to do in order to take your life where you want to take it. So one of the first things I ask you to do is I want you to look at your life right now. And think about something that's important to you, something that gives your life a sense of value. Think about something that you'd like to have, or something you'd like to create for you or your family or for society. I want you to hold this thought in mind. Now, one of the first things I want you to do is don't worry about the inner conversation that you're going to have. Don't worry about how you're going to do it. That's going to come. You're going to develop a plan of action. You will find the way. You'll become the kind of person that can attract the people, the resources, and everything you need in order to make that become reality. But I want you to be mindful of your inner conversation. I remember once I was sitting in an audience and Zig Ziglar, who I consider one of the greatest motivational speakers on the planet, he was giving a speech. And I was out in the audience and I saw him going back and forth, and within myself I said, I'd like to do that. I can do that. And I leaned over to the guy next to me. I said, how much do they pay him to do that? And he said, $5,000. I said, I know I can do that. And I admired him. And then on the way home, when I was driving from Tampa, Florida, back to Miami, Florida, my inner conversation kicked in. And it said, Les Brown, you can't do that. You don't have a college education. Les Brown, you can't do that. You don't have the money. You don't have the contacts. You've never worked for a major corporation. What makes you think that you can make more in 1 hour talking than you've made working for a whole month? I want to ask you a question. How many of you have ever thought about something you wanted to do and you talked you out of it? Raise your hand, please. That inner conversation, ladies and gentlemen, is the reason that most people take their greatness, take their ideas to the graveyard with them. You know, the wealthiest place on the planet, a minister said recently, and it was so true, is not the gold mines in the various areas of the world or the diamond mines. The wealthiest place on the planet is the graveyard. Because in the graveyard we will find inventions that we never ever were exposed to. Ideas, dreams that never became reality, hopes and aspirations that were never acted upon. Because most people allow that inner conversation, for whatever reason, to keep them from ever pursuing their goals. So let us begin to look at what's required in order to make this our decade. Why is it that most people don't ever reach their goals or live up to their true potential? One is fear. And there are only two kinds of fears that we're born with: the fear of falling and the fear of a loud sound. All other fears we learn, like the fear of failure. The next is the fear of success. That's one of the major challenges I had to deal with. I was working on a major project, and after it began to grow and it was extremely successful, I panicked and I walked away from it and gave it to someone else because I didn't believe that I could handle it. The other thing that keeps most people from reaching their goals is that a lot of people become comfortable. They stop growing. They stop wanting anything. They become satisfied. They stop looking at ways in which they can improve themselves. They stop putting things in front of them. I was reading something by a great man, George Bernard Shaw, and he said something to the effect that to have succeeded is to have finished one's business on earth, like the male spider who is killed by the female spider the moment he has succeeded in his courtship. And he goes on to say, I like a state of continual becoming with a goal in front and not behind. I remember after giving a speech at a major corporation, a gentleman came up to me who was up in years, and he said, you know, that's real great motivation for you young guys, but I've done all my work. There's nothing else for me to do. I said, oh, yes. You've got a lot to give. You have a lot to offer. The fact that you're still here means that your business is not through yet. The other thing that keeps us from reaching our goal is not feeling worthy. That's where a lot of people get stuck. Because see, when you don't feel worthy of your goal, you'll begin to unconsciously engage in self-destructive behavior, like procrastinating, constantly putting things off, squandering your time, and that's what life is made of. Something else that keeps us from reaching our goal, and that is many times because we spend so much time complaining and blaming everybody or everything. I'm reminded of a friend of mine who talked about the fact that one day he was walking by this house and some people were sitting on a porch, and there was a dog on the porch, and this dog was just moaning and groaning. So he was curious, and he asked the owner, he said, why is this dog moaning and groaning? And the owner said, because he's laying on a nail. He said, well, why doesn't he get off? He says, it's not hurting bad enough for him to get off. How many of you know people who moan and groan and complain about life all the time, all right? They might moan and groan about their job. I'm sick of this job. I'm sick of you.
Job, weight,
and they just moan and groan and complain all the time.
All day.
And never do anything about it.
Exactly.
They haven't got to the point where they're sick and tired of being sick and tired.
They're not sick and tired of being sick and tired.
They just have enough energy to complain about it. And they consider that, in fact, they believe that that's equivalent to doing something about it, just complaining.
Just complaining, not taking charge or praying.
That can't get you where you want to go.
The other
that
one is just praying to God.
Create your reality for you. The other thing that keeps most people from realizing their true greatness and their true potential, circumstances, their environment. There are many people who believe because of where they're born, because of the area where they are in life and where they find themselves, that's all they know. Given my circumstances, ladies and gentlemen, I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. See, I know something about you, even not knowing you, that you've got greatness within you.
Everybody
You have
does.
the ability to do things that you can't even begin to imagine. You have talents and skills in you that you haven't even begun to reach for yet. No one could have convinced me, given my circumstances, given my background, that I would be doing what I'm doing right now. I was born in Liberty City on a floor on 62nd Street, my twin brother and me. When we were 6 weeks of age, we were adopted. When I was in 5th grade, I was identified as EMR, labeled educable mentally retarded, and put back from the 5th grade into the 4th grade, and stayed in that category until I got out of high school. I have no college training, but here's what happened. I had an intervention in my life. A man who saw something in me at a time that I did not see something in myself. I never forget being in his class one day waiting on a friend of mine
when nobody
who
else
was there to
is,
rehearse for a
now,
play.
not even family
He did
will
not
to
show
invest.
up, and he asked me to go up to the board and write something on the board. And I said, I can't do that, sir. He said, why not? I said, I'm in a special education class. He said, what do you mean? I said, go up to the board and write what I'm about to tell you. I said, I can't do that, sir. Why not? I'm educable mentally retarded. And he came from behind his desk. He said, don't ever say that again. someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality.
Yep.
And that changed my life. It was Oliver Wendell Holmes who said that once a person's mind is expanded with an idea or a concept, it can never be satisfied to going back to where it was. So some of you are going to experience a breakthrough. Some of you are going to go back and look at your dreams and brush them off. Some of you are going to begin to look at yourself and say, hey, look here, I know I have not done all that I can do. Whatever goal that you have in mind, I want that to be a goal that will challenge you, something that will make you stretch. It was Osborne who said, unless you attempt to do something beyond that which you've already mastered, you will never grow.
Never.
What is it that you looked at some point in time and you decided that you couldn't do it, that you talk yourself out of it? Whatever it is, bring it back out there. How you're going to do it, that will come to you in due time.
Amen.
So you don't get in life what you want, ladies and gentlemen. You get in life what you are, not what you want. And see, the good news is that we can always become more by working to develop ourselves. So the first process of making this your decade, you've got to begin to take a look at your life and look at where are you right now? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What gives your life a sense of fulfillment, a sense of joy? What does a full, rich life means to you? What is it that you could love doing 7 days a week that'll bring a smile to your face?
Owning a club,
Think
who
about
knows
that.
what, but whatever you're doing, just
All the areas
reinvest
of
in
your
yourself,
life, your professional life, your personal life, your family life,
from love to whatever.
your
Make
spiritual
sure you
life. What
invest
is it
in
that you'd
yourself.
like to
You
have?
keep yourself
Once you begin
happy.
to determine that,
Never give up your own
that takes you to
happiness
the
for
next
somebody
step.
else's happiness.
And that is, once you decide what it is that you want, now you've got to decide that you deserve that. Repeat after me, please. I deserve the best that life has to offer. I deserve to find my purpose in life. Shake somebody's hand on your right and left and say, find your purpose.
Find your purpose, my listeners. Find your purpose.
Do you know by actively pursuing your purpose, it could perhaps extend your life?
Amen.
The number one killer in this country,
Stress.
of all the diseases we have, heart disease. That's the number one killer. And if you ask most people, when is it that the majority of people have their first major heart attack? Some people will tell you as a result of obesity, or smoking cigarettes, or high cholesterol, or high blood pressure. And all of those are contributing factors.
But not
However, the truth of the matter is that most people don't realize that the majority of people suffer their first major heart attack on Monday morning between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. People getting ready to go to jobs that they don't like, jobs that are making them sick. You see, when you're not pursuing your goal, you are literally committing spiritual suicide.
Killing yourself.
When you have some goal out here that you're stretching for and reaching for that takes you out of your comfort zone, you'll find out some talents and abilities you have that you didn't know you had. I started speaking just to elementary school kids because I knew they didn't know what I was talking about. And they gave me all kind of standing ovation. We like you, yeah. Then I graduated up to junior high school and then to senior high school and then to various community groups and church groups and civic associations and then to colleges and to businesses. Now I'm traveling across the country and then traveling nationally and internationally.
Amen.
But I never would have discovered what I'm able to do right now if I wasn't willing to take a chance. And you've got to be willing to do that. You've got to believe in yourself. I was doing work for a major corporation and they were having a major downsizing. Just another terminology for major firings.
Happening to me.
And so the people that were working there, they approached them and said, listen, you are eligible for early retirement. We will give you a buyout package of $300,000 if you take it within this time frame. However, after this time frame, when we have the downsizing, you might be among the people cut and you will lose all of the benefits that we're talking about right now, and the most you can get is 2 weeks severance pay. Ladies and gentlemen, only 50% of the people that were eligible took this. Let me tell you something. If I'd been there, I'd have gone to ask for your check. Listen, Marvin told me to get his check. He's home with his mama. What? I would have taking that money so quick and it had other people's checks. They said, Les got your check. See, ladies and gentlemen, life is too short trying to play it safe. It's too short and unpredictable, being miserable.
That was
It's
what
too
happened to
short
me.
for that.
I was at Partners.
Here's the thing.
Sitting there, looking around the office space, no lie. And I was looking at all the old folks that were just typing their life away. Everyone that had a pension plan, retirement plan, so on and so forth. Some that had arthritis, some that, complained about coming to work or the 9 to 5 and so on and so forth. And I thought to myself, do I want to spend the rest of my life like this, catching arthritis, typing away just for a retirement plan or a safety net for when I get old? And I never built nothing. And when I realized about how much money I spent on rent, on cars, well, not cars, but, that I could have spent on buying a car, that I spent on the train, the bus, or whatever it is that I spent money on that I didn't really necessarily need to spend money on, I could have saved. I could have had a Fortune 500 by now, or something greater than that. A lot of y'all just willing to be comfortable. Some of y'all want houses, but don't want a real estate agency. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, take it the next step further. Instead of buying a house and working off for the rest of your life to get that house or whatever it is, or to pay off the house, or buying multiple houses just to pay off one another until you get a mansion and whatever, get yourself a real estate agency. It'll pay off 10 times more than you actually buying a house, to be honest with you. If you want a car, fuck a car. Get a car dealership. That way you have multiple cars on the lot that you can just drive off with whenever the fuck you feel like it, just because it's your dealership. You feel me? Like, there's mad other ways to make it in this world other than just working the 9 to 5. We were never taught this as kids. Like, they didn't wake us up. They didn't tell us that. All they taught us was that we wasn't educated or bred to be entrepreneurs. They don't want all of us to be entrepreneurs. We're just, my country, 'tis of thee, so on and so forth. I pledge allegiance to the flag. And then the whole idea is, what would you want to be when you grow up? Most of y'all said fireman. Most of y'all said so on and so forth. But nobody ever said entrepreneur because that was never in our heads. Like, for me, when I have my child, I'm going to mold them to be an entrepreneur. I understand nothing's wrong with working 9 to 5. I'm not saying that. But that person that you're working for, who's your boss, your CEO, or whatever it is, broke out of something from working that 9 to 5 status to decide I'm going to be something greater. A lot of y'all want to be great, but are not willing to take the steps or sacrifice that it needs to take for you in order to be great. So I wish most of y'all the best, to be perfectly honest with you. I hope this wakes y'all up and most of y'all take y'all money and reinvest and don't spend it on stupid shit. As much as y'all want to go to the club all the time, invest that money into yourself. You can eventually have your own club by now. You feel me? Like, there's so much more that we need to wake up as people. A lot of us are poor and broke, relying on the government. I understand that, they have welfare checks and so on and so forth. But like I keep saying, if the government was to shut down tomorrow, today, or whenever, and your food stamp's not coming in, there's no IRS check. You know what I'm saying? No taxes, no nothing. What would you do? What would you be able to do to sustain yourself for the rest of your life? Majority of us has lost the skills, the minor little skills of just, being a farmer, planting a seed, and learn how to grow, fruits, vegetables, so on and so forth to sustain your family. Most of y'all can't probably even raise a chicken. So there's just certain things like that. Like, we need to think a whole lot deeper because the elite really don't give a fuck about us. Yeah, we vote. We do all this other crap and go to the polls and vote and so on and so forth. But let's really think about it. They don't want us to be our full potential. Even we're from blacks or whites. Like, there's a lot of white people who are poor too. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
There's no safe position in life. Let me tell you why. It's a quiet secret that most people don't realize. You can't get out of life alive. Hello, you can't get out of life alive. So there's no safe position. You can die in the bleachers or you can die on the field. You might as well come out on the field and have a good time, right? know, if you want to make this your decade, you've got to decide to be bold. See, you got to be bold in life. You got to take life on. I remember I was at a major corporation. I had to give a presentation, and there were two guys sitting across from me, and the guy said to the other fellow, looking at the last two finalists, that involved my firm and their firm, said, listen, looking at the credentials, this guy doesn't have any credentials. We have an advantage here. We've got 2 PhDs between us. I got up and I went in the bathroom, started talking to myself. I said, Les Brown, what do you care about their 2 PhDs? You have 6 children and a mama to take care of. And I went in that meeting, and first of all, I went there walking bold, looking good, feeling good, and smelling good, all right? And I sat across that table and we started negotiating, and I operated in a spirit of absolute certainty. I looked at them as if the only reason that they were born was to give me that contract. They survived 1 out of 9 million sperms to carry out this transaction. And I got the contract. Hello. So you've got to decide to be bold. Most people go through life trying to creep. No. Trying to be casual about it. No. You go through life being casual, you'll end up a casualty. No. You've got to be bold in life. You've got to take life on. Now here's something else. You must be positive. See, a lot of people, when things don't happen when they want it to happen, they become negative, and they turn out and start projecting.
The negativity sometimes is not even from yourself, to be perfectly honest with you. It comes to you from the people around you who don't believe, who don't support you, who are not there, who constantly keep telling you, you know, you're not going to make it, so on and so forth. You need to break out that shell, you feel me? Let them go. Let those words go. Because those are going to be the same people when you do make it, when you prove them wrong, that's going to be wishing that they were by your side or supporting you and so on and so forth. So no matter what, strive for whatever your dream is. Whatever it is, you feel me? Find a means to make it a part of your daily life. Even if you do work a 9 to 5, work at it a little bit at a time to the point where you can fully dismiss that 9 to 5, or, you know what I'm saying, or do whatever it is that you want to do full time and only work that 9 to 5 part time, basically, you know? So you got to do that switch. A lot of people, y'all just complaining, but yet still sitting there complaining. Technically, you're comfortable for me in my book. As much as you say
a lot of negative energy. No. You've got to make a conscious, deliberate, determined effort to be positive. Because, see, when you know within yourself things are going to work out for you, when you know within yourself that some way, somehow, you're going to make it, and these are just some of the hoops you've got to flip through in order to get there, it's okay. Have a friend who went to get a job, and the people didn't hire him. He was so negative. Well, hey, to hell with you then. Wait a minute. They just don't have a job today. Don't burn your bridges behind you. Don't talk about the guy's mama. Come on. All right? Oh. Now, here's the last thing. If you want to reach your goal and have a competitive edge, you've got to be hungry.
Hungry.
A lot of people love me to tell this story. When I got out of school, you know, my first major goal was to buy my mother a home, and my hero in broadcasting was Paul Harvey, and I wanted to become involved in broadcasting, and I loved the disc jockeys that were on the air, and I wanted to become a disc jockey. And Mr. Washington said something to me that I'll never forget, who was my mentor in high school. Repeat this. Whitney Young is his quote. It's better to be prepared.
It's better to be prepared
for an opportunity. And not have one. Than to have an opportunity. And not be prepared. See, so I started working to develop my communication skills and expand my vocabulary. I started visualizing myself being a disc jockey. I saw myself on the air having a talk show and playing records and people listening to me. That was my vision. That was my dream. I held that in mind constantly. And I would practice all the time. Practice makes what? Absolutely not. This just dislodge that from your mind. Practice only makes improvement. Perfection doesn't exist. They need to take it out of the dictionary. It doesn't exist. Practice only makes improvement. You can always better your best. You have not done your best work yet. As long as you're here, you have a chance to transcend yourself. So don't believe in perfection. It doesn't exist. It only makes improvement. So I would practice every day. And finally, I went over to this radio station.
I'm scared to death to go home. I don't want to be in the situation to have to go home and say to my daughter, Dad,
and asked a guy for a job named Mr. Butterwall, and I said, how you doing, sir? I'd like to get a job. I was working on Miami Beach at the Fontainebleau Hotel at the time. The Jackie Gleason and the June Taylor dances were famous. And my favorite program on television, most people would not remember, John Beresford Tipton. Hi, my name is Michael Anthony. I have a check for $1 million. How many of you remember that program? All right?
I wish.
The Millionaire. That was my favorite
I
program
wish.
on television, you know. So this is my fantasy, you know. And every time we would drive from Miami Beach, I would fantasize, oh, that's the house. When I get my $1 million, I'm going to buy my mother that home over there.
I don't even
so
want
that's
$1
my
million, to
fantasy.
be
So I went up to
perfectly
Mr.
honest with you.
Butterball, and he said,
I don't have
you have any
a
radio
limit to how
experience?
much
I said,
money
no, sir.
I want.
Do you have any background
I
in
just want
journalism?
money to
I
be
said,
able
no,
to
sir.
help
I said, but I
everybody,
can never get
anybody, as simple
experience
as
if you
that.
don't give me the opportunity. I've been practicing a lot, sir. He said, I'm sorry, we don't have any job for you. I said, thank you, sir. He didn't know my reasons for being there. My reason, I wanted to use radio as a means to earn the money to buy my mother a home. I went back to the radio station again. I said, how you doing, Mr. Butterball? My name is Les Brown. I know your name. Didn't I just see you here
Yeah, I
yesterday?
remember when I started off the radio
I said,
station.
yes, sir. I said, y'all have any jobs here?
In Brockton, a matter of fact, with my boy Chris, and that actually made me want to be a DJ even more, even though I sucked at mixing. I wasn't on point. Blending was horrible, to be honest with you. Even now, when I listen to some of the mix from back in the day that I made, and you know the transitions from each songs, which is, oh my God, horrible. Even to the point where when I went to a club, DV8 in Rhode Island. So I went to Club DV8 in Rhode Island, and Paul Michael was the DJ for the night. And they said I wasn't a DJ due to the fact that at the time, when I DJ'd, what I mostly used to do was use the BPMs. So I used to keep syncing songs and use BPMs and so on and so forth, but I just started off. So I remember this clear as day. He came to me afterwards, after the night, and he was like, you're not a DJ. And I was mad. I rashed him to the point where I rashed him on Facebook and a lot of other stuff and told him he wasn't a DJ due to the fact that he played majority of old school songs and wasn't up to date and so on and so forth. But like now that I think about it, it made me into somebody even better, because even after he told me that, I didn't stop. I kept grinding. I kept working hard towards my dream of being a DJ, to the point where it wasn't me saying that I'm going to be a DJ. It was me actually saying I am a DJ. Other people actually believing in me that I am a DJ. So whatever it is that you do, reinvest in yourself. Never let nobody take that dream from you, no matter what it is. Don't ever, ever, ever let them take it from you. If you wake up every day wishing that, you know, you can make a difference, you can start on that dream, make today the day that you start on the dream. Do whatever you can, even if it's little, just to make that dream come true. I don't know. This is just one of the things that I'm trying to wake up my peoples from. Break out that 9 to 5 and get yourself established. But let's keep going.
Didn't I tell you yesterday we didn't have a job? Yes, sir, but I thought maybe somebody got fired or resigned. I didn't know, sir. I went the next day. How you doing, Mr. Butterball? He said, yes. And I just didn't take it personal. How you doing? So y'all have any jobs here? Didn't I just tell you yesterday and the day before we didn't have any work? Well, I thought maybe somebody died, sir. I didn't know. I went the next day, showed up like nothing was wrong, like I saw him for the first time. How you doing, Mr. Butterball? Y'all having here? He said, boy, make yourself useful. Go get me some food. I said, yes, sir. See, many times when you want more, you've got to be willing to pay your dues. So I became their errand boy. I would get their lunch and their dinner and all kind of food for them. After a while, I would take the food to them in the control room, and I would not leave until they would ask me to, and I'd watch them working the controls, and I'd memorize their hand movements. And pretty soon, they would trust me with their cars to go pick up entertainers that came into town, entertainers like Sam Cooke.
It's funny. I did the
Donna
same
Ross
thing, too, with DJing. I started watching people and the way they mix and listening to their mix and so on and so forth to try to get myself better. I like that.
Preems, the Four Tops, and the Temptations. I would drive them all over Miami Beach in the disc jockeys' cars. I didn't have any driver's license, but I was driving like I had some. Finally, one day I was at the radio station, and a guy by the name of Rock was drinking while he was on the air. It was a Saturday afternoon. I was the only one there. None of the other jocks were available. And I was looking at him through the control room window, saying, drink, Rock, drink. Drink Robert. I'd have gone to get him some more if he'd asked me to. Drink Robert. Pretty soon the phone rang. It was the general manager. I said, hello? He said, Les, this is Mr. Klein. I said, I know. He said, Rock can't finish his program. I said, I know. He said, would you call one of the other DJs to come in? I said, yes, sir. I hung the phone up. I said, now he must think I'm crazy. I called my mom and my girlfriend, Cassandra. I said, y'all come out on the front porch and turn up the radio. I'm about to come on the air. I waited for about 20 minutes and I called him back. I said, Mr. Klein, I can't find nobody. He said, young boy, do you know how to segue the records? I said, yes, sir. He said, go in there and don't say nothing here. I said, yes, sir. I couldn't wait to get behind those controls. I put the headphones on. I said, look out, this is me, LB Triple P, Les Brown, your platter playing papa. There were none before me and there will be none after me. Therefore, that makes me the one and only. Young and single and love to mingle, certified, bona fide, indubitably qualified to bring you satisfaction, whole lot of action. Look out, baby, I'm your love man. I was hungry.
You gotta be hungry to make it, bro. Gotta be hungry.
Better when you are able to have charge of your destiny, doesn't it? Gives you a good feel. Gives you choices. You can do more things. See, my first major goal was to buy my mother a home. I feel like Abraham Lincoln, who said, all that I am and all that I ever hope to be, I owe to my mother. And I said to my mama one day, I said, Mama, when I become a man, I'm going to buy you a home. And you won't have to go to work every day. You won't have to work. You just sit down, Mama.
I don't even want to buy a home, to be perfectly honest with you. I want to open multiple business and give my people's,
one
work
day
job.
You won't have to leave here to go to work no more. It's raining outside. You won't have to go to work in the rain. You just do what you want to do. Like stay home and fix me sweet potato pie. My mama fixed the kind of sweet potato pie you can't eat with your shoes on. You have to take your shoes off so you can wiggle your toes, all right? But that was my dream. That was my passion. I saw that, and that drove me. That was my reason for being. So one of the things, in order to make this your decade, in order to reach your goals, you've got to find some reasons that make you strong. Some reasons that will make you hang in there when times get rough, because they're going to get rough. It's going to be very challenging. Whenever you decide that you want to grow, whenever you decide that you want to go to another level, all hell will break loose. Everything that will happen, that can happen, will happen, and at the worst possible moment. They call it Murphy's Law. See, whenever you decide that you want to go to another vibration, it's like when you get into an airplane. The first thing they tell you to do is do what? Fasten your seatbelt. Because you're going to experience some turbulence when you're going up. And some of you are already experiencing that turbulence. Don't be frightened by that. See, whenever you decide you want to go to another level, you've got to fasten your psychological, your mental, and your spiritual seatbelt. Because it's going to be a while before you experience a comfortable altitude. You're going to get there. It's there. But you've got to go through this phase here. This is how you grow. This is how you develop. See, life is like a roller coaster. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. Sometimes things go well, and sometimes they don't go well. But in the down moments, that's when you discover who you are. During the down moments, see, in the prosperous time, you put it in your pocket. In the lean times, you put it in your heart. And that's when you discover who you are. So find 5 reasons that empower you. Why is it that you deserve your goal? What are the 5 reasons that you won't give up? When life catches you on the blind side, when the messenger of misery visits you, what are you going to do? What will keep you in the game when life knocks you to the canvas? See, the Buster Douglas that fought in the last fight was not the Buster Douglas that fought Mike Tyson. See, the Buster Douglas that got knocked down while fighting Mike Tyson had gotten out of an alcohol recovery center. His mother had died. His wife was ill with a terminal illness. He was considered a nothing, a bum. So when he got knocked down, Buster Douglas had a reason to get back up, because he said, I'm dedicating this fight to the memory of my mama. But when he fought the last fight that he had, and he got knocked down, and he had a guaranteed $24 million in his pocket, whether he got up or not, he just said, hurry up and count me out. say, no, why'd you leave so soon? Somebody's about to get hurt, me. So you've got to have some reasons that when life knocks you down, and it's going to. Hello, it's going to knock you down. When people disappoint you, and that's going to happen. When they betray you, and that's going to happen. When they lie to you, and that's going to happen. When they say, oh, you can count on me, and they won't show up, and that's going to happen. When you want to throw in the towel and give up yourself, and that's going to happen. When life collapses on you and catch you on the blind side, it drop you to your knees and start choking you. You got a dream? No, I ain't got no dream.
So, I got rashed on this year. I wouldn't tell this story because I really don't care. By two different females, to be perfectly honest with you. And at first I kind of felt bad about it on the inside, but after that I was just like, these going to be the same females that are going to be blowing me up later on, especially when I got money and I'm no longer here and I'm traveling the world doing whatever. So she rashed. She was like, you got no car, you're not going nowhere in life, so on and so forth. And that's not it. I'm the type of person that like to move on the low. I don't feel like every single thing that I do, I need to broadcast to the world, especially when it comes to either financial or relationship or whatever. The more you keep to yourself, the better it is. The less ammo people have on you, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of things that I opened up to this girl about. Actually, both of them. And they both went kind of left on me about a lot of stuff. But at first I was mad, but when I think about it in the long run, I'm not even that mad no more. Because it motivates me every time I think about it. At the end of the day, they're still stuck at the same position that they're at. They're, year after year, been doing the same old crap. Year after year, been complaining about where they are in life. Year after year, they're living with their mom, or in their head, or how they put it, mom is living with them. So technically, man, you're not living with your mom in my book when your mom's supposed to be living with you, because you still can't do whatever the hell you feel like doing. If you want to get some action, you can't be, getting some action, and the mom dudes is next door listening to you being all loud and, it's getting torn up and whatever. So technically, you're not having your mom live with you. You're living with your mom in my book. But anyways, so I just realized, like, these are not the female that I would want by my side anyways, because if they're being like that now when we're just talking or whatever it is, how's it going to be like when I actually, am in a relationship with them? Or it takes me a little bit longer to make it when I'm in a relationship with them. So they had to let go. I had to let them go. And as much as it hurt, because, a dude wanted to, try to see if something could work, not everybody's meant to be worked with. So, had to let it go, man. And there's going to be a lot of people in your life that you're going to have to let go, have to kick to the curb, that's not going to support you, not going to be there, that's going to hate you for whatever means or reason or whatever it is. Just never stop grinding, yo. Never stop believing in yourself. If something's in you telling you that you need to do this, find whatever the means is, or the way, the path that you need for you to get to that point. Don't stop. Don't, what's this song? Don't stop believing. Yo, that's one of them songs that gets the club on and popping. So, never stop believing. If you got to play that every morning when you wake up for your inspirational, get up or get me up or whatever, however you want to look at it, play that song, you'll never stop believing.
And that's going to happen. What reason can you remember that you can call on, that you can reach on, that can make you get back up? Find that reason. Because when life had knocked me down, I said, life, I'm doing this because I want to make my mama proud of me. I'm doing this because I want my children to have a better life than what I have. I'm doing this because all my life I've been told I'd be a loser, that I wouldn't make it. All my life I heard people say, maybe take them back to the welfare department. I'm doing this to make them alive. I believe, like Frank Sinatra, he said, the best revenge in life is massive success. I'm doing this so I can become massively successful. And with that kind of courage, with that kind of affirmation and reason to empower me, I got a saying that when life knocks you down, try and land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. All right?
So my boy Chris told me to say Journey. So the Journey, because I guess he's listening.
So when you run out of money, When things don't work out for you, when things happen that you could not anticipate, what are the reasons that you can think of that can keep you strong, that can keep you in the game, that will be your rod and staff to comfort you, that can be your bridge over troubled waters? Those reasons are very important. Nietzsche said, if you know the why for living, you can endure almost anyhow. So find out the reasons that you do what you do. Find out the reasons that will make you strong, that will make you walk by faith and not by sight, that will make you pursue your dream when everybody is against you or don't believe in you no more. And let me tell you something, that's a lonely feeling.
It's lonely.
It's a lonely feeling, particularly people that you're doing it for, or people that stand to benefit the most, or people who should be the #1 members in the encouragement club, but they end up saying, you can't do it, and they become members of the discouragement club. Oh, it hurts very badly. I know what that's like. Have people that you love close to you that look at you with that look and say, why don't you try something else? Why don't you give up? I said, but this is my life. I have got to do this. Les, you had a good job at Sears.
I heard the same thing about Partners. Supposedly I had a good job at Partners because I got a pension plan and all that other stuff. But like I said, man, when you look around and you see all the old folks who got carpal tunnel, arthritis, or whatever, who are suffering to just type or walk to or from their desk, and when you ask them why they still come to this job, and it's all about, you know, my retirement, my pension plan, like it's like, yo, bro, you're stuck at this 9 to 5 for a retirement, for a pension plan. Like all these years you spent here, because you hear anywhere from 20 to 40 to 30 or whatever, so on and so odd years. And I know you accumulated a good amount of money. For what have you done from that money? What have you done with that money? Most people take it, upgrade themselves, like go get a new car, go get a cribs, a better cribs, or a better apartment. Except for just reinvesting and opening up a business that eventually will get them to that better cribs, a better apartment. Like, I just don't get it no more, yo. Like, I broke out of so much mentality of the way the world thinks that I'm looked at as like outcast, but that's not it. If more of us thought about building our own and sustaining ourselves, except for having somebody else sustain us or give us that American dollar, there'll be more jobs in America. Poverty wouldn't really be that much because there'll be so many rich people on the face of this planet that I don't think we would have poverty at all, to be honest with you. If I have it, why wouldn't I give back to the people who helped me get it? Like, that's my point of view, but like you can clearly see with some of the actors, some of the movie stars, not a lot of them do give back. Sad to say. But they use it as a tax write-off or whatever the situation is, or whatever. All I'm saying is that, for instance, we got Patriots, we got Bruins, we got Red Sox, we got all this other stuff. But look at Boston as a whole. Like, all right, there's outskirts that we don't really consider as Boston. I guess Dorchester, Mattapan, so on and so forth, Roxbury. Like, they don't consider those part of Boston. I guess it's the ghetto. But even then, like, to me, it's still part of Boston because your subway still runs through there, your bus service still runs through there. It's still a part of Boston. But look at your streets, bro. Like, look at your way of living. Look at some of the buildings. Some of the buildings are still old as fuck, never been touched up, washed down, or nothing. But yet you guys investing money, tons and tons of money into sports. Up here, we generate the most money when it comes to sports. So I don't know. Like, what are we gonna do different this year that's gonna make next year even better? Like, I know this summer a lot of people gonna get shot and killed over who knows what. But still, this is all a part of poverty. We're in a state of, like, I don't want to say emergency, but we're basically going to say emergency because a lot of people are losing their jobs, losing their houses, doing whatever they can to just try to live and make it to the next day or feed their kids or feed themselves. Like, it's crazy out here, yo. The government don't give a fuck about us, especially Trump. Don't give a fuck about nobody.
I can't do. I got to be my own boss. I can't do that. I mean, you know, it's ladies and gentlemen, you know, when you work on a job that's dead end,
yeah,
you can see the ceiling already. It's like going in the middle of a movie And after you've seen the movie, sitting back through that over again, there's something missing. You know the hero is not going to die. You know what the outcome is already. And so that's why a lot of people, a lady was telling me, she said when she went to work, it felt like a refrigerator fell on her shoulder as soon as she stepped in. Because she knew she'd gone as far as she could go. See, they're paying her just enough to keep her from quitting, and she's worked just hard enough just to keep from getting fired. How many of you know people like that? Raise your hand. The ones of you didn't raise your hand, you the one. I'll just tease it, all right? Here's something else. Make a commitment to be happy. See, you know, I have you laughing a lot. See, life is too short going through it looking homely, tired, and ugly. Sometimes we take life too seriously. Oh, no. Make a commitment to be happy. Find little things just to get tickled about and laugh. Find ways to be happy in the moment. A lot of people say, well, I'll be happy when I pay off all my bills. No, no, no. I'll be happy when I get my divorce. Oh, no, no, no. I'll be happy with the children gone. Oh, no, no. You want to be happy now. See, there are no guarantees. No one say you're going to be here 2, 3, or 4 years from now. So you want to be happy right now, in the moment. Repeat after me. I must make a commitment.
I must make a commitment.
To be happy.
To be happy.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Is all I got.
Is all I got.
Shake somebody's hand on your right and left and say, you deserve to be happy.
I ain't got nobody on my right and my left, but my listeners, you deserve to be happy.
Make a commitment to be happy, because life now has new meaning for you. Just enjoying the sunset, or just looking at life,
I know, right?
looking at
Some
nature,
of y'all don't
going
even look
for
at the
a
sunset
walk.
no more.
It's the little
Take the
things
time
in
to look
life
at the
that
stars.
counts. Here's something else that you want to begin to do in order to make this your decade. You want to begin to get all the toxic people out of your life.
The leeches.
Hello. Energy drainers, get them out of your life. See, ladies and gentlemen, it takes a lot of energy to reach your goal. It takes a lot of emotional, mental, and spiritual energy to reach your goal.
Yep.
And you can run faster with 100 who want to go than with one around your neck.
That's dragging you down.
So there are two kinds of relationships. Sid Simon talks about this. Nourishing relationships and toxic relationships. Nourishing relationships are the relationships that inspire you.
That builds
They
you.
motivate you. They bring the best out of you.
Build character.
Toxic relationships are relationships with people that always criticize you. All they can do is find fault. All they can do is just exploit your weaknesses. All they can do is remind you of the mistakes that you've made in the past. These people are bad for your health. Toxic people can run your blood pressure up.
I don't see where the
One
money's
apple
at.
can spoil a whole
You wasn't
barrel.
meant to see.
One negative energy drainer can spoil your whole life. I know people whose lives have been ruined because somebody wasn't good for them. See, there are some
Toxic.
people that aren't good for you.
At all.
Hello? They aren't good for you. You've got to get them out of your life. See, a lot of people put up with a lot of foolishness because they don't want to die by themselves. Here's what I believe. I believe in a one-to-a-box theory. Ask this question of yourself. Make a list of who you communicate with most and ask yourself the question, what kind of person am I becoming because of this relationship? Is it helping me to grow mentally and emotionally and spiritually? Am I becoming a better person because of this relationship? Do they bring out the best in me? Do they inspire me? Do they encourage me to develop my greatness? Do they make me stretch? So you got to look at the people in your life and find out, what kind of person are you becoming because of that relationship? My mother used to say, birds of a feather flock together. You run around with losers, you will end up a loser. Unconsciously. Unconsciously, you will pick up their ways, you'll pick up their habits, you'll pick up, most importantly, their attitude about life. If you're around cynical, negative people all the time, you will become cynical and negative.
Let them go.
So you got to watch yourself. Many of us are living out the lives of other people, living out their conclusions, living out of their consciousness. The other thing is that you begin to looking at your life and looking at what it is that you want to achieve. Another crucial thing that you must do is align yourself with powerful people. Align yourself with people that can encourage you, people that can empower you, people that you can learn from, people that you can grow from. That's very important. See, if
Good
you have
crew.
people around you that can contribute to your growth. When I wanted to become
Digital
a speaker,
DJs
I
Elite.
joined the National Speakers Association. I wanted to be around the Dr. Norman Vincent Peales, the Zig Ziglars, the Dwayne Dyers. I wanted to be around people that were doing what I wanted to do. I wanted to learn from them. And you want to do that too. You want to align yourself with people who think like you, people who dream like you,
break
people
out the
who
box.
want more out of life, people that are stretching and searching and seeking some higher ground in life, as opposed to the majority of people. Somebody said, always strive to get on top in life because it's the bottom that's overcrowded. And see, you don't want to be on the bottom.
The top
See, it's
feels so
easy
much
to be
better
on
than
the bottom. It doesn't take any effort to be a
So if you're here right now, I'm guessing that you clicked on a video to learn from some sales or some marketing guru about
No.
how to grow your company. Am I right?
Nah.
Well, that's all.
loser. Doesn't take any motivation, any drive in order to stay down there on a low level. But it calls on everything in you, ladies and gentlemen. You have to harness your will to say, I'm going to challenge myself. Sometimes I have to pull myself out of bed and say, come on, Les. Things I know I should do, I don't do. Things I shouldn't do, I do. I found that the biggest enemy you have to deal with is yourself.
Yep.
There's an old African proverb that says, if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. So think about that. So as you begin to look toward making this your decade, as you begin to look toward making your life different, as you begin to look at yourself, you've got to redefine yourself. Who are you right now? And who must you become in order to create what you want? What has to change about you? What is it that you're doing right now that would be a liability for you? As you begin to look toward the future and take inventory of yourself, what is it about you right now that you've got to leave this behind because this no longer fits? Looking at where you want to go and the kind of person that you must become, the kind of standards that you have for you. What is it that you must do differently? Repeat after me, please. If you want to keep on getting what you're getting,
If you want to keep on getting what you're getting,
keep on doing what you're doing.
keep on doing what you're doing.
See, that doesn't take an Einstein for that one. Am I right?
If you want to keep
It makes
on
sense
getting what
unless
you're
you
getting.
change your pattern.
Yeah.
Unless you change
it.
the way you're thinking, unless you change your behavior,
Or the people
you're going to
around
continue
you.
to produce the results in your life. See, all of us are
Misery
winners.
loves company.
But some of us are producing results that we don't want. And so all you have to do is look at your game plan, look at your strategy. How is it that you have been being? What is it that you've been doing to produce this? See, you're the director, you're the producer, you're writing the script, you're the star of your life. And as you begin to look at your life, you can decide whether or not it's a smash or whether or not it's a flop.
I like this. I like this. Basically, you are the one who's in control, who's your friend, not your friend, so on and so forth, or who you associate with or who you don't associate with. Like, I know we have family members who you know, gone down the wrong path, the leeches and so on and so forth, the friends or whatever it is. But you decided to keep them as friends. You decided to still keep them around. You decided to still be there. You decided to still help them, give them a helping hand. It's all on you, you feel me? Like, if you were to say no, what can they do? But just accept it. Yeah, they might bitch and moan about it, but let's keep it real. Like, nigga, I don't want to be your friend no more, or I don't want to be your boyfriend, or whatever it is. It's on you. If somebody is not making you happy or not giving you the full happiness that you're seeking, then it wasn't meant for you. Yeah, it might be hard to let them go. You know what I'm saying? Or they may have meant to be by your side, friendship, or whatever it is, they wasn't meant to be there. Like, if they don't support you, don't motivate you, don't get you on the right path, they wake up every morning angry, even when they look at you and hear about your dreams, you're like, you know, nah. Certain things you got to let go, yo. That's the only way you're going to make it, because when you do make it, it's going to be even harder for you to let them go, because that's when all the fakeness and the, you know, it's going to come out and, oh, you know, we believed in you all along. Nah. Even when you drop them now, watch when you do make it. They're going to show up like, oh, you know, we always believe, we just were saying those things to push you even harder so you would go harder and actually make it and so on. Nah, bro. That's why I told people, like, I'm starting to realize why the rich really do separate themselves from a lot of people, because when they were working hard, grinding, like gave up that 9 to 5 or whatever it is that got them to the point of being rich. When they're putting in that time and they didn't go to the club or didn't spend money on this and that or who knows what, because they had a dream or vision that they were just stuck on working on while the rest of y'all party your lives away. All of y'all was like, you know, you're lame or he's not cool or who knows what. And then all of a sudden, bang, when you got that million in the pocket or 2 or 3, or you hear that, you know, he's worth $8 million or so on and so forth, it's like, oh, yeah, you know, what's good? And no one wants somebody to just come leech off of them. Like, it's either a power team, a power couple, something around there where you already have your own, or you can build off of what I have to sustain yourself, even if I am or not in the picture, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Like being a power team, not for me to come into your life as me being the man in a relationship and therefore sustain you for the rest of your life. Nah, that doesn't work like that too. And the other problem that I have is females who feel, man, let me word this right before I get in trouble. But females who feel that their man has to be the one who sustains them for the rest of their lives and they don't have to, you know, basically put in no work. I don't care how much freaking money I'm making. You better put in some kind of work. I could be a billionaire and I'm buying you red bottoms. You better still get up and work some kind of 9 to 5 for the rest of your life, even if I am making more money than you. Like, you're not going to just sit there and be comfortable because daddy's making the money. Nah. The same thing as it goes for me. If my girl was to make more money, I wouldn't just sit there and live off my girl. I would take the money that she's making and she's willing to reinvest in me or whatever it is, you feel me, to get to a point where I'm able to sustain myself or sustain the both of us. Like, I just don't get it, yo. Some of y'all really just stuck at being comfortable. I can't be comfortable no more.
That's in your hands. Look at your life. Look at where you want to go. Don't worry about your circumstances. Don't worry about your age. I have a friend who's up in age, over 70, and she wanted to build a multi-million-dollar complex. The name is Dr. Johnny Coleman. Lenders and bankers say, you can't do that. You're too old. She ignored them. That building now stands, ladies and gentlemen, a multi-million-dollar structure. But there are a lot of people who would have listened to that. There are a lot of people that would not have even gotten to that point. They would have talked themselves out of even going down to the bank to ask for it, because they've already said no to themselves. See, it's time now. If you want to make this your decade, you've got to start saying yes to your life. You've got to start saying yes to your dreams, yes to your unfolding future, yes to your potential, as opposed to saying no. See, 87% of our self-talk is negative. So you've got to make a conscious, deliberate, determined effort to say yes to your dreams. Why not? Why not me? Don't spend time like most people going through life complaining. Don't try and get on talk shows and tell everybody how life has done you wrong. Here's what's happening in the audience. 80% don't care, and 50% glad it's you. All right? So when you know that, you don't go around crying, oh, you know what they did to me? Who cares? Get away from me before they come back. I had a friend of mine that said something that's very important. He said, hey, it doesn't matter what happens to you. The only thing matters, what are you going to do about it? That's all that matters. Okay, life knocked you down. What are you going to do about it? How long are you going to sit there and say, you know what they did to me? How long? Who wants to hear that racket? Use that energy to get up from there and move on and get on with your life. You got to learn to let the past go so you can grow. Many people never act on their dreams because they allow their past experiences to determine what their possibilities are. Whatever you've done in the past, that's not a reflection of your possibilities. That's just a reflection of your consciousness. That's just a reflection of your development and your growth. The future is unfolding for you right now. The future is unlimited for you right now. No one knows where you can go. No one knows what you're capable of or what's possible for you. You don't even know that. I had no idea, ladies and gentlemen. No one could have convinced me that I was able to do this. I never forget, I was speaking in Detroit, and a high school friend of mine saw me afterwards, and he was backstage. He said, I can't believe it's the same person. And I thought for a moment, and I said, it's not. The person you know, he's gone. He doesn't live here anymore. We have the power to change our personal history, changing the direction of our lives, changing our thoughts, changing where we want to go, exploring new horizons. So as you begin to look at this decade and affirming that this is your decade, as you set goals that will make you stretch, that will bring out the best in you, as you begin to remove the negative, toxic people from your life, as you decide to take some chances in life, and that's one of the things that's very important. Viscott said, if you're not willing to risk, you cannot grow. And if you cannot grow, you cannot become your best. And if you cannot become your best, you cannot be happy. And if you can't be happy, then what else is there? I'll never forget when I reached my first major goal of buying my mother that home. I'll never forget what it was like. And you're going to have this experience when you reach some major goal. When I drove up to the house and I got out and I gave Mama the key. And I said, Mama, this is for you. I'll never forget the look on her face. She said, oh my God. No one could have convinced me when I adopted y'all that this would happen. She said, oh, thank you. She said, and you. You caused me so many damn problems. I was just one of those kids that had a lot of energy. But no one knew what I was going to become. It was a great philosopher, Goethe. He says, look at a man the way that he is, he only becomes worse. But look at him as if he were what he could be, then he becomes what he should be. And what Mr. Washington did was he looked beyond my faults and saw my needs. And he said, I see something in you. And I was there, oh God, I hope he's right. And I want to live up to his expectations. See, no one rises to low expectations. Finally, here's one last thing I'd like to leave with you. If you want to make this your decade, find some cause that you believe in.
I'll be back around 3 o'clock for a mix.
This is my profession, but my greatest joy in life is working with young kids. Every Monday, I fly up to Chicago to work with 600 young kids.
3 o'clock?
Christ Universal Temple Church, working with them to develop a sense of purpose and direction with their lives. We develop a training program. If they're addicted to drugs or alcohol, we help them to get into a permanent recovery program. If they're not, we help them to develop a vision of themselves where drugs and alcohol does not fit. I love it when I go into the Cook County Jail and see the look on these young men's faces, the anger and the self-hatred. And then when we leave there, see the difference in them as we begin to touch a spark in them as Mr. Washington touched in me. And you cannot put a dollar price on that. That's my reason for being. What is it that you would like to give the planet? What is it that you'd like to leave here? See, someone paid a price for us to be here. I believe that we live in the greatest country in the world that gives us an opportunity to make a difference in life. We are blessed to have been dropped off on this part of the planet. A friend of mine was in Manila and saw a bumper sticker that said, Yankee, go home and take me with you. So as you begin to look at your life, decide, what kind of legacy do I want to leave? What kind of statement do you want to make with your life? What 3 things you want said when you die? What contribution do you want to make? I don't know what you want to do.
What are you leaving behind?
I don't know what you want to achieve with your life. Here's what I know about you, and about you, and about you, and about you. That you have greatness within you. That you have things and gifts and talents that you've been bestowed with. That as you work consciously, making a conscious, deliberate, determined effort to cultivate and bring them out and develop a sense of purpose in knowing that your life can make a difference. Decide to make and leave a legacy with your life. I say to you that the planet will never be the same again because you showed up. As you begin to look toward the future and affirm that this is your decade, this is what I like to leave with you that I'm known by. It's become my motto. And it says simply this: what do you want to do? My goal is to be the best son that I can be to my mother. My goal is to be the best father that I can be to my children. And my goal is to create a drug-free America, be the best motivator that I can be. Whatever your goal is, this is what I like to leave with you. It says simply this, that if you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep for it, if all that you dream and scheme is about it, and life seems useless and worthless without it, and if you gladly sweat for it and fret for it and plan for it and lose all your terror of the opposition for it, and if you simply go after this thing that you want with all of your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity, if neither cold poverty, famish, or gulf, sickness, or pain, of body and brain can keep you away from a thing that you want, if dogged and grim you besiege and beset it, with the help of God you'll get it. This is Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy, Leslie Calvin Brown, saying it's been a plum-pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege. Thank y'all here.
I hope this inspired most of y'all to get your lives together, stop complaining, do what y'all got to do to, reach that next level or pinnacle that we know us as people altogether can reach. But we've had a government and certain people who've been plotting against us for years, who's kept us from reaching that level or pinnacle that we've been reaching for. And the only reason why I say this is because we don't get taught how to be an entrepreneur working in, when we go to school. We get taught that we need to wake up and work a 9 to 5. So I'm trying to have more of us invest in ourselves, get out of that mindset of working a 9 to 5, make more of us millionaires. Take that tax money, reinvest in yourself. Fuck the car, fuck the new house. Whatever it is that you thinking that you should invest in, don't invest in. Reinvest in yourself and yourself alone. Alright, man. I'll try to play things like this every once in a while, inspire y'all. Hope this actually inspired y'all. But look out for me March 9th, next week, Friday. Pisces Lounge. Grown Sexy Affair. Well, not really grown and sexy, but, at least come up to par dressed, ready to get turned up. It's your boy DJ No Request. I'm going to be 32 years old. 32, old as fuck, yo. God damn. God damn. But hey, I'm blessed. I'm grateful for every single year that I've gotten. So with that said and done, thank you, and I'm out.